Figuring out where we fit in as we begin to grow up might be one of the hardest things there is to do. It's some things that even grown-ups are still wondering about. But in these three books I'm going to talk about today, each one of our main characters is struggling to figure out where they fit in. They might be called an outsider, or a zero, a freak, a greaser, a loser, or a weirdo. And each one on their own is struggling with finding their place. Our first book is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. It was the winner of Best Books for Young Adults from ALA. Charlie, he's been having a hard time. He's starting high school after being hospitalized for quite some time. So walking into the school, he doesn't really know where he fits in anymore. He's lost who was his best friend in junior high, and he's just lost in general. He feels a lot, he sees a lot, and he wants to share that with someone. So Charlie begins to write letters. Dear friend, I am writing to you because she said you listen and understand. I just need to know that someone out there listens and understands. I need to know that these people exist. I think you of all people would understand that because I think you of all people are alive and appreciate what that means. At least I hope you do, because other people look to you for strength and friendship, and it's that simple. At least that's what I've heard. Through Charlie's letters, the reader begins to see what his thoughts are and who those people are that are going to help him out along the way while he's in high school. He makes some friends, he loses some friends, he makes some mistakes, but he has some great accomplishments throughout this book. Ponyboy is a little different than Charlie. He feels like he knows where he fits. He's an outsider. He's a greaser. The time period is the 1960s, and even though this book won the ALA Best Young Adult Books in 1975, it still speaks to so many kids today. Ponyboy has his two older brothers. They're all living together after their parents have died, and the oldest brother, Derry, is raising him. But even though he has his group of friends built in with his brothers and his gang from the neighborhood, he still doesn't really know where he belongs. Ponyboy says, I had a long walk home and no company, but I usually loan it anyway, for no reason except that I like to watch movies undisturbed, so I can get into them and live them with the actors. When I see a movie with someone, it's kind of uncomfortable, like having someone read a book over your shoulder. I'm different that way. I mean, my second oldest brother, Soda, never cracks a book at all, and my oldest brother, Derry, works too long and hard to be interested in a story. So I'm not like them. And nobody in our gang digs movies and books the way I do. For a while there, I thought I was the only person in the world that did. He comes to find out he's not the only person in the world that did, but it takes a lot of mistakes and a really long, hard road. Some danger, running away, fights, murder. All these things lead Ponyboy into finding who he really is and where he really belongs. It's a pretty exciting book, and I've never had a disappointed reader. In The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie, Junior truly doesn't fit in. He's born with a lot of health problems, and those health problems keep him from being a normal kid who can go outside and play. He is a Spokane Indian, and he lives on an Indian reservation. The school there is very poor and doesn't offer him very much. So eventually, Junior decides, in order to really get off the reservation and do something different than his family and friends, he's going to have to go to an all-white school. At this white school, the only other Indian there is him. Getting to that school is hard, literally and figuratively. It's far away, and he has to make it on his own to get there daily. Not only that, everybody on the reservation feels like Junior is abandoning them and that he's trying to be something he's not. He has his one skill. He loves to draw. Later on, he finds out he's good at some other things too. He does have one friend on the reservation, and that's Rowdy. But even Rowdy knows who he really is on the reservation. After Oscar, my dog, died, I was so depressed that I thought about crawling into a hole and disappearing forever. But Rowdy talked me out of it. It's not like anybody's going to notice if you go away, he said, so you might as well gut it out. Isn't that tough love? Rowdy is the toughest kid on the res. He is long and lean and strong like a snake. His heart is as strong and mean as a snake too. But he is my best human friend and he cares about me, so he would always tell me the truth. And he is right. Nobody would miss me if I was gone. Well, Rowdy would miss me, but he'd never admit that he'd miss me. He's way too tough for that kind of emotion. I am a 0 on the res, and if you subtract 0 from 0, you still have 0. So what's the point of subtracting when the answer is always the same? So I gut it out. He does gut it out. And he figures out a way to fit in where he feels the most comfortable. In all of these books, each character is trying to fit in. They're trying to learn a lesson that a lot of us are still trying to figure out. Go on a journey with these characters. I'm sure you'll find something that each one of them has that is a lot like you.